Hey guys, welcome back to B&B Farms, where our goal is to try and live with our land and not just on it. We're going to be back at the maple syrup sugar house and the pump shed today, talking about an issue we had with a repair out there. But first, before we do that, I want to show you something. You know, you get on the maple syrup forums, and there's a lot of talk about, you know, folks that aren't really used to making maple syrup, and they see, hey, my maple tree has buds on it, you know, the season's over. Well, take a look at this. Let me turn you around here and get a maple limb pulled down. All right, it's going to be kind of hard for this GoPro to focus on that, but right there is the buds off of a red maple tree. And yeah, they are definitely swollen, no doubt about it. But here's the thing. Those buds have been on that tree, you know, for months. Just because the buds are on the tree doesn't mean the season is over. Don't worry as much about the appearance of the buds as what shape those buds are in. Let's take another look. Hopefully we can see that. Those buds are still tight. They haven't opened yet. So yeah, while the season is definitely, you know, drawing to a close, there's still some good maple syrup to be made from this maple tree over here. So yeah, don't worry as much about whether or not your maple tree has buds on it. Take a look at the buds, see if they're trying to open. All right, enough about that. Let's get back to the maple syrup sugar house and pump shed and get this video started. We're down at the pump shed. I'm not going to go into great detail about how this releaser works. We've got a lot of videos out, you know, detailing how it works and showing it in operation. I just want to talk about the problem that we've experienced with it this year and how we corrected it. So take a quick look at this. The thing I want you to see is right back there at the back. Can you guys see that? There are two floats on a metal rod coming in the bottom. There's a lower float right there and an upper float identical to it right there. And how it works is the level of sap in the releaser rises till it gets to the lower float. It lifts the lower float. Nothing really happens. It continues to rise, the level of sap continues to rise in the releaser till it gets to the upper float. It lifts that float, and that sends a signal to the controller, which picks up a relay. We call it our FR, or our float relay. It energizes that float relay when that upper float gets all the way to the limit of its travel, and that signals the controller. It says, hey, I'm full. I need to dump sap. And the controller initiates the process, releases the sap. The upper float drops when the sap level, you know, begins to drain out of the releaser. Nothing happens because the lower float is still submerged. It's still high, and it's holding that process open. It's keeping that FR relay energized, picked up. So it continues to drain until the sap level goes below the lower float. The lower float drops. That de-energizes that float relay, and the whole process starts over. We put vacuum back in the releaser. It seals back up and starts drawing in sap to repeat the cycle. That's how it's supposed to work, and that's how it worked last year. But this year, something went wrong. That lower float got to sticking. It would raise up with sap level, but when it come time to dump and the level of sap in the releaser drained out, it wouldn't fall back down. It was hung up, and it kept that FR relay energized or picked up, which told the controller, like, I'm not empty yet. Don't restart the cycle because I've still got sap I'm trying to dump, when in fact it was empty. The float was stuck. And I had it apart. I looked at it, cleaned it, I don't know how many times. I cannot get it to work. So we missed a lot of sap because that releaser wasn't doing its job, or that float wasn't doing its job in that releaser. How we fixed it was we did away with that lower float. And some of you are probably wondering, well, why can't you just use the upper float by itself? Well, the problem is when that sap level gets up to the upper float and raises it, okay, it would send a signal saying, hey, time to dump this sap, I'm full. And as soon as the sap level started to dump, that upper float would drop, chink, and it would, you know, that FR relay would drop back out or de-energize, saying, okay, I'm empty, but it's not empty. That upper float only travels about an inch. So it's going to drop the sap level about an inch. It's just going to keep bringing in sap, dumping an inch, bringing in sap, dumping an inch. It's called short cycling. and that's no good. That's going to wear everything out. So our solution was to add a timer to this upper float so that when it picks up and it signals the controller, hey, I'm full, I'm going to energize that FR relay and dump sap and shut off the vacuum momentarily, a timer starts. I think I have it set for 18 seconds right now. And that timer, when that sap starts running out, that timer starts, clicking on for 18 seconds. That gives enough time for the sap to escape through the releaser. And then when that timer elapses, boom, the FR relay drops back out or de-energizes, and the controller starts reapplying vacuum and bringing more sap in. And hopefully I can get something here and I'll show you a little bit better detail how that works. All right, we are not bringing in any sap today, but I'm going to reach in here by hand and trip that upper float and show you what happens. Take a good listen here. Here we go. All right, so we've cycled these two valves. We're not going to talk about that. Again, that's been done in another video. I'll put a link to that video at the end of this video. You can check it out. What I want you to see is right here. See this timer relay? See it counting down, that orange light blinking right there? It's counting down 18 seconds. There. Time elapsed. You can hear the system resetting. It's time to start bringing back in sap. It's worked out really well for us. We had one instance where some ice early in the morning got in the releaser, up in the dump valve, and then that check valve below, and the timer elapsed before the sap drained out because that ice had restricted part of the opening. But it only lasted one cycle, and that little bit of sap that was able to release, boy, I can't talk today. That little bit of sap that was able to escape the releaser, running past that ice, melted it, and it was right back in operation. So for us, it's been a win-win. Somebody might be wondering about what kind of relay we used. I'll show you that real quick. Here's the relay we use. It mounts on a DIN rail, just like all of our components do in the controller. It's got two, I don't know if you can see that or not. If that's probably that's probably not going to focus on that very well. This GoPro doesn't like to focus very well. But it's got intervals that you can adjust it as far as timing. It's got 1 second, 10 second, 1 minute, 10 minute, 1 hour, 10 hours, 1 day, etc. That's on the that upper red dial. And the lower one is in percentages. 10, 20, 30%, 40%, 50%. And how that works is, say you need 30-second timer. Well, there's no 30-second, there is no 30-second interval on this. So you would set it for 1 minute, and then you would turn the lower red knob to 50%. In other words, you've got 50% of whatever the upper knob is set to. So 1 minute, 50%, half of a minute, 30 seconds. I think right now we have it set for 30% of 1 minute, which gives us, our 18-second cycle time. Guys, I know this was a quick video, real brief. I just wanted to touch on the vacuum releaser because we had some questions about it. I hope you were able to take something away from it. I know it was pretty jumbled up because, frankly, I'm about to freeze to death out here. But hopefully you got the idea of how the floats work, what went wrong with the floats, and what we did to correct that problem. I do this line of work, similar type of work with relays and stuff every day, and I'm amazed at how much more difficult it is to try to explain to somebody how it works or show someone what's going on than it is just to do it. I'm sure it's that way with just about, whatever occupation or line of work you're in. But anyway, if you have any questions or concerns about what you saw today, and I really can't believe that you don't because it was, like I said, pretty jumbled up, drop us a line down in the comments. I'll do my best to get those answered for you, get you back on track. One more thing. This week, we hit 1 million views here at the B&B Farms Maple channel. And Becky and I are so grateful for all of our viewers who stuck with us and watch our videos. It means the world to us. I know 1 million views is just a drop in the bucket compared to a legitimate channel or one of the big YouTube giants. But it means something to us. And we're really excited, really proud, like I said, very grateful for everyone that subscribes to our channel, and tells their friends about it. The whole purpose behind our channel was to try to help people. Hopefully we've done that to a little degree, and we're going to try to keep doing it and keep helping people. So yeah, thank you very much. Remember to get outside. It's beautiful out here. It's cold, but it's beautiful. Be nice to one another, and I will see you on the next video.